Hello everybody, welcome back to WiscoTrains and the Modern Green Bay and Western, another layout update today. It's been a little while since I've posted a layout update, mostly just due to work and training, and I think out of the last 15 days I worked 13 of them, so yeah, I've been busy. But I'm going to show you some progress that I've gotten done. We've laid some track in both Black Creek and in Seymour, and then I'm going to show you some operations that I've been doing on the layout. Not full-on operations like I hope to have one day, but just kind of a simplified version of operations and the locals that will be running on the layout. So that's kind of going to be the focus. So after this train finishes passing, we'll move on to looking at the new track work. Okay, we'll start here in Seymour and take a look at the track work I've completed. So the double-ended siding that serves the flour mill in Seymour is completed. I got the track laid there. As you can see, there's some cars set out there. This little siding, though it's pretty small, actually fits 3 cars, which was kind of what I was looking for. And what I like about it is when I talk about the operations of the locals, you can make a decision as to whether or not you want to switch it while you're running eastbound or westbound, because if it's double-ended, and provides a little bit of flexibility. As you can see, it's just a little bit lower than the main line. I decided to do about 2/3 the thickness of the main line there for the roadbed, just because of how short it is. I didn't want too much of a change in such a small area. But yeah, the cars sit there nicely. So yeah, that'll be the spur for the, or I guess I shouldn't say spur, but the siding for the flour mill. Still haven't gotten the spur down here done yet for the pallet company, but we'll get around to that eventually. Track laid to CHS Larson. I don't have the yard done, and I think I've mentioned I want to do the backdrops first before I get the yard, before I put in the 2 tracks here, just so I know where they're going to fit, and if I need to curve them a bit to make it fit what I want. But that's about where my grain elevator is going to sit, as you can see, and that still has to get heavily modified, as I've mentioned before in other videos. But yeah, so that's where that's set. As you can see, operations have been done. So switched it a few times, and then we'll move on to Black Creek. Okay, Black Creek. So Foxy Mainline still isn't in, but otherwise, other than that, which is going to just be a programming track and a dummy track, essentially, Black Creek's trackage is done. The 2 spurs of the cheese factory are completed. So as you can see, they come off of Black Creek siding, and Black Creek siding is completely finished. So pretty excited about that. And we'll move back over here to the cheese factory. So back here, I know I got just 2 regular boxcars. I realize I don't own any refrigerated boxcars. Back here will be a loading dock for shipping cheese out of refrigerated boxcars or reefers. It has enough room for 4 60-foot boxcar, or sorry, 3 60-foot boxcars. So there'll be 3 places to spot cars. And then this will be the unloading area for chemicals and stuff for the cheese making process. As you can tell, I ran into a problem here. I'm going to have to take off that door, how it rolls down. So originally this building was a engine shed on a different layout I had. That the clearance was enough for locomotives, but apparently on most tank cars, including this one and another one that I have, it's just a little too low, so I'm going to have to take that off. Not a big deal. Be an easy fix. Just haven't gotten around to it yet, obviously. Small things, small details. So yeah, there'll be enough room to unload 1 tank car in there, and then I got room for 2 to be on an off spot here for operational interest, kind of give you a place to set cars down and switch cars and whatnot. But yeah, it should be a pretty cool little building here, a little complex. And yeah, and I know I mentioned this before, especially in the track planning video, but yeah, Black Creek and a lot of these areas other than Seymour really don't have that much going on in them, and that's kind of a point to have open spaces just like the real world, and I think in modern railroading, it seems to me, at least from what I see, is as opposed to like there being, 10 industries in every town, you have some that are, have 10 industries, but a lot have just one, or some towns have none. So I'm pretty excited about that. And now we'll talk about the two locals and kind of the way I've been, quote unquote, operating the layout since I've completed some of this trackage. Okay, so here's the track plan layout. There's a video all about this if you want to watch that, but uh, we will talk about the locals and where they run and their operations. So the first one I want to talk about is L522, which is a turn out of Norwood Yard and runs to Black Creek. The two cities it serves are Seymour and Black Creek, both on the layout and in my fictional reality prototype, my fictional prototype. There's a different train that runs out of Norwood Yard and works Howard and the industries in Green Bay, so we don't have to worry about that. So the local will leave the staging yard, come around through here, and comes into Seymour, where it becomes an operational issue with mainline trains. Will have to wait in, staging, but on the layout, they'll have to wait in Black Creek if they're headed eastbound towards Green Bay. They'll have to wait in Black Creek for L522 to work Seymour, so it'll probably work Flower and Performance Corp. And then it will continue on and come to Black Creek and enter the siding. Now here, it becomes an operational issue with you can't pass trains at Black Creek, but trains can pass the local. What I found is by being judicious about my switching, I actually have enough room here and definitely enough room here as a lead that I don't have to worry about fouling the main too often. It still happens. Sometimes I have too many cars that I got to put here. I'll have to push them back on the main just a little bit, but we tend to have enough room in Black Creek to switch the cheese factory. They'll complete a runaround, attach back, and then head back towards Seymour, where on the return trip, eastbound, they work CHS Larson. Again, becoming an obstacle for the mainline trains, which will add some interesting operational intrigue to the model railroad. And like I said, the flour mill, if you don't have anything for Performance Corp, maybe it's just easier to switch the flour mill when you switch CHS Larson on the return trip, and then vice versa. Say you don't have anything for CHS Larson, you do for Performance Corp, maybe you switch Seymour, and then that way you're not fouling up the main as often. But yeah, I've ran the train. Usually what I do is what I've been doing for operations is I'll run the local out, and I'll have another train just doing laps on the main line, and I try to dodge it. Sometimes I have to stop it. Adds in the siding. It adds some operational intrigue. The second train would be L523. So L523 comes from Wisconsin Rapids Yard and is a turn that ends in New London. It switches essentially east of Plover. So anything east of Plover is what it switches all the way up to New London. Plover has its own switcher and its own local, so we don't have to worry about Plover and the industries between Plover and Wisconsin Rapids on the fictional prototype. So train comes out here, enters the siding here. What I found is because this lead is longer, it's better to do a runaround and then start switching the Foxy interchange yard. I do find that you can be creative and actually not foul the main too much. Usually one move or another, you'll have to be on the main and foul the main. So for better or for worse, maybe if I had extended this just a little bit farther, I wouldn't have that issue, but it's not the end of the world. This siding is more than ample for what my mainline trains will be. And I don't have the spur yet in for Granite Valley Forest Products, so I don't know how that'll change much. Obviously, you have to go down the main line in order to get there. But yeah, after switching that and running around its trains, switching the Foxy interchange yard, local 523. That's what it is. 523. Still learning the numbers I made up for this. So local 523 will head back to the staging yard and be out of the way. There is an option for a third local if I ever get to this point. A Foxy train could come out of the Foxy Sneak Off, which is why I put this in here. It's just not a priority to actually get a Foxy locomotive and have this up and running. Well, coming off the Foxy Sneak Off, come here, enter the main line, and run up here, and then swap the cars out that I put in, that the local had dropped off in the yard. That'll kind of give it it'll be a live interchange then, so that'll be quite exciting, quite interesting. But yeah, operating it, they probably take half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how much I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. But yeah, I'd say about half hour for each one. That's pretty good. The hope is that I could do an entire operating session where I run all of my mainline trains that I have detailed out in addition to my 2 locals. Though I think a majority of my operations will either be running the locals while I have other trains running the mainline, just looping around, being in the way, or just having mainline trains meet and not worrying about the locals. Kind of a more relaxed operating session. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been using the -9 for switching, which isn't quite what I intended it for. But once we get some Jeeps and SD40s, we'll be in business. So yep, I've been busy. That's the reason this video took a while to be made. But I will say I've gotten a decent amount done, even though I was working so much. And yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to leave you here with local L522 entering Black Creek siding here behind GB&W 210. If you want to see more about my layout, please check the in-screen videos and the pinned comment down below, and subscribe and like. In addition to this, I have rail fanning videos. I plan on uploading a few more of those, especially unedited ones. I know those tend to be popular amongst the rail fan community. And then also, I'm hoping to have a new editorial here soon. That was very popular. People loved it. I just got to find a subject that I'm passionate enough about to write about. So thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it happens to be for you. And see you next time.